Hello and welcome to Warblog. This is a second pass through of the Kirkuk October 2017 scenario, mainly because what I read in the Safran article was actually sort of happening, sort of confirmed by the BBC, who are saying basically that they're fighting. You can see the areas, but they've sort of come down here and they're basically fighting along this line. Kurdish fighters are moving into the area. I'm not sure how.
So we've just driven about 25 miles or so from Beale, which is back up this way, and as you can see, large, heavily armed, moving into the area. We've seen a lot of more Peshmerga
So
fighters.
motorised units.
Also, actually, there's probably just right here, down here, we have seen injured the road towards Kirkuk. There's a major battle going on between Peshmerga fighters and federal Iraqi forces. The Peshmerga are saying that the federal forces have moved up this road, coming to a major checkpoint which has been held by the Peshmerga, but it seems serious fighting. We have heard artillery, we have seen rockets being fired from here, and obviously a lot of machine gun.
Okay, so I haven't got the artillery. Well, there's some Iraqi artillery, but I haven't got any of this Peshmerga Porte stuff. I've got some rockets. Let me just do that. Okay, so I've now added in the Peshmerga artillery Porte, which I've added because of that video. But, so we've got the rockets, the Porte. We've also given the Iraqis a bit more artillery. This is essentially slightly different from this, which sort of assumed a sort of finish to this sort of scenario. So we're going to we know how it works because of the earlier video, but obviously we have to go through and do everything again. We've also got South Kirkuk with the roads and as an objective, which we didn't have before. So we can move straight in there. And there were reports that it was slightly less, slightly less amicable than sort of initially portrayed. You know, in the sense that the Kurds were sort of pushed out with minor fighting. I'm going to represent that by engaging them in some attrition as opposed to an assault, and that's something I didn't do in the last one either, so we've got some armour there. So we're just going to select everything, do an attrition, see how that works. So 2 damage. Including to those guys. Should maybe put some refugees into South Kirkuk as well. Well, let me do that. Okay, I've got some refugees in there, but it's not going to count for this scenario because this one's already been generated. But we've attacked there. I think I'm going to move everything up here onto the road. Okay. So they're going to retreat. The Iraqis are now going to move into Kirkuk, which is now and there goes the Kirkuk city refugees. I think we're going to do an earlier stage here. Let's move towards this oil field. There. Okay, so now they've got a problem with their refugees, and I think all the refugees are going to want to sort of move along this road here. Okay. And these units are all going to hold, but we do have that unit under there. He's going to stay there because he's got depressions too, but if he stays he'll recover and he'll be protecting these refugees. And they've all now dug in. I'm going to move this armour. We don't perceive any major threats at this moment. Let's move them at 2.8. Let's do an attrition on this. Unsuccessful. We've got 3 to 1 odds. This is a bit of an insight to how a battle there might pan out. Again, I'm going to do attrition on this. 0.6 damage, okay. And that's that. Okay, so now we have ISIS coming in doing their thing, complicating matters, and now it looks a little different. Yeah, he's got caught up in that zone of control. I'm going to stay with them. We're actually going to hold to these locations. Okay, so how to get rid of ISIS? It's a bit more of a thorn now. Thinking aloud. I think I'm going to bring these units back. I'm going to bring these back into there, and these I'm going to take down here and use this as a task force for getting rid of ISIS. And then these will clear that and then move up to there. Gives us a 10% on that. Okay, we'll push them back. We'll move into the village. Yes. How much movement do we have here? Not enough. It's got depression 2. So it's still only be a 3-to-1. I think it might be worth it. Just to push them back a bit further. Oh, an exchange. I was thinking as long as it's not an exchange. Well, that's not too bad because that's... No, they didn't get an exchange. So they're irregulars. That was a pain. Okay, so moving these guys back like that. And let's go for here. Okay, so we'll push them back. But it's not good enough really. If we want to then start moving over this way, we need to get rid of them. So we've still got a little bit of movement there. Okay, so that gets rid of them. Now they're recovered from their depressions because they didn't do anything. Well, they did well. Let's take Dibis as well. Okay, so everything's going okay for the Iraqi army. I mean, Kirkuk is a bit weak, but there's nothing to threaten it directly. And what we're going to do with this unit is hold this bridgehead, because we know we've got reinforcements coming. They're going to hold that oil field. ISIS, well, they're going to attack because they're irregulars, so they'll get a 1-to-1, but they could do some damage against that motorised unit. And they are ISIS, they're like that. 1-to-1, there's an exchange. But it's still pushing the fatigues of this unit up. You know, I mean, they've got to now explicitly recover those if they want to put them back into good order. And they're just going to sit there. I mean, they can't really attack Kirkuk, but they could. I mean, they've done it before. So if we leave this oil field undefended, ISIS could go and take it. Or what we could do is get the Popular Mobilisation Forces heading in that direction. And then use our armour down here to push them out of that village. Not enough to get in there. Okay, so ISIS have pretty much sort of caused Iraqi forces to use all their forces in the south, as opposed to dealing with the Kurdish situation in the north, which is sort of pretty much what's happened. Okay. Well, the refugees are sort of across the river, so they're more home and dry now. Oops, I forgot to do anything with these guys. Oh well. Not a big problem, because I can pretty much do the same thing as if they had advanced into that hex. So push them back. And that looks like it might have actually got rid of them. They're about, I think it's an 85% chance. They have an 85% chance, or thereabouts, of evading a DE result. So it's about 15% chance of actually being eliminated. Can't remember what the odds are actually, but we obviously got them on that one, which is what we wanted. But they've not got any movement left, and we're not going to get that village back this turn, but it's not critical to get it back this turn. Can hold out here, move these Badr forces in this direction. Now they're not particularly strong, so I think I'm going to start off with some attrition, at least to get a sense of how strong they are. So 2 to 1. Well, ISIS have taken this village now. We didn't do anything with these units either. They're just going to get trunched on both sides, so I think the best thing for them to do is to try 1 to 1 here with an exchange. Okay. Well, let's try and contain them at least. I don't want them getting into Kirkuk. And they've gone into Kirkuk. Oh dear. Well, that's not the end of the world. Depression 5, they're not really worth much. These are the ones that are a bit tough. Okay. Well, let's give it a whirl. There's 2 of them, but one of them's Depression 5, the other's a Depression 2, but they're in a village. Okay, so we've got them out of the village and split them up. Do we have any movement left at all? Well, we can now attack them with our armour here. Ha! Look at that. We've got them on the morale. So what were they? They were on morale of 6. We defeated them, so that pushed them up and eliminated them in that capacity. He's got enough movement to be able to do an attack there. Okay, so he's now at 50% depression, which means any further he'll start doing morale checks himself. Well, I don't want to commit them to an attack. 0.8 damage, that's what we need to be doing against them. Okay, we've now got some reinforcements coming in. I'm going to move these refugees off of the road so that when the reinforcements come on, they can be seen. They're holding, they're going to hold. ISIS are going to, I think they're going to run away. let's try and maintain a sense of reality. So we're going to assume that they've run away. I've got an idea to make all board hexes, all edges, retreatable zones. So if they move into there, they could then basically do something, and it would probably be along the lines of moving then into a retreat hex. So, but I don't want to do that yet. Okay. So the Iraqis now have the resources to play a little harder. And I'll leave this unit in here to take that. This unit in here to recover the village. This village is already in good order, so we've got these two spare units to start moving north. We're going to commit one company just for the hell of it to ensure that this threat is managed. It's all movement, so they're at 7, so they'll start routing soon, so we can at least get rid of them properly. I mean, I know we assume they're routing, but that doesn't mean we can't chase them, and we've got enough forces to do that, and it would make sense to make sure that they're not a continued threat, even if we don't know that they're in such bad condition necessarily. Do another attrition there. They're entrenched now. Point 2. They keep recovering though, that's the thing. Okay. So the Peshmerga now have their reinforcements, and this is the... Oh, the hell. That's not right. Oh dear. 2A. 1 minute. Okay, let's set the balls up. They should be appearing up there. And I can't do anything about that now, but I've corrected the sort of the main file. So to reflect the stupidity of that, what I'm going to do is just as quickly as I can ignore them. See, they've gone into zone of control. Oh, that was stupid because now they're blocking everything. Let me just go through a couple of turns just to at least get them out of the way. And I'll do one more turn. So we're getting all these other reinforcements coming in as well. It wasn't ideal, but you have to excuse that complete screw up. Right, so we're a little more near sort of how it works. I mean, we've also got a lot more reinforcements in there. We've got these people here, and we'll give it back to the Iraqis now. So they've now got their own artillery coming in. I think it's the end of their turn. They probably recovered slightly. Maybe we'll get them to rout. Nope. What's their depression now? Depression 9. Why did they rout there? They could have routed there. Okay, that was a DE. But they retreated there. So the morale was, I mean, there are a 70% chance of routing on that. And they didn't rout. No movement, and no movement. So there's still a threat, and we're still units chasing them. That's stupid. No matter. We can swing around this way. Kid gloves are off. DE. Okay. So you can go in there and take the oil fields. That means now that we've taken that, we can now swing this front like that. Swing everything up there. We've still got a little problem with ISIS there, but that's pretty much where this line is going to happen, and this is pretty much sort of how it is happening. The question is, will we keep the front there, or will we fall back here, or will it be more like that, or will it fall back to here? You know, we don't really know what's what, where things are. But I think the interesting thing is that the Kurds are actually fighting the Iraqis in earnest, or at least to some extent. It might be the sort of thing that will be resolved diplomatically fairly soon, because I can't imagine, you know, I mean, I might be wrong in my thinking here, but it just seems like a turnaround now in the Iraqi situation, because they've been fighting the ISIS for so long. It seemed quite balanced, and you would have thought they'd all be tired of war. And here we have essentially what could be, you know, a permanent war with a US. I think the Kurds are sort of backed by the US, against the the US versus the Iranian supported Iraqis, but the US support the Iraqis. The US support the US support the Iraqis as well. I mean, they have air bases in Iraq, and I don't think that the US are a key player. They're more sort of providing sort of support and advisors and things like that. So there's no sort of major US presence on the ground there. But the fact is that this situation could be fairly significant. I mean, if it starts out another 5-year war between Iraq and the Kurds, I'm not sure what politically they could have. What the Kurds could gain politically, and I'm imagining that by fighting they'll bring together the requirement for a ceasefire. So it could be that they're really just skirmishing, making it look as though the whole conflict could be drawn out even further, and then bring in international opinion on their side, because it can only really work on their side. Because if the Iraqis start attacking the Kurds, that they're going to start made to look sort of bad, because the Kurds are the ethnic minority, so to speak. And I think the UN have already stated that they're sort of prepared to go into, I think it's Mosul, or is it Raqqa? I think they're sending going to Raqqa, and I can never remember where Raqqa is. I'll have to look. But the thing is, if the United Nations suddenly got involved, it could be the impetus that the Kurds need to actually create their, to go beyond autonomy and to, to actually have their own state, which I think is what the Western sort of alliances want. So anyway, I'm not going to take it any further than that, because obviously it could go on for a long time, and I don't want to sort of just sit here playing it. But all these troops could start coming down here. A lot depends on the on the diplomacy. It'll be interesting to see what the line is actually after the situation today, whether it is anything like that, or whether it's more sort of like this, or some other orientation. And obviously the thing to bear in mind is also there's other areas, there's other parts of the Iraqi, the Iraqi Kurdistan, Iraq, that is in flux. But I think this is where the main sort of conflict is going to happen, because of the oil fields. You've got to remember, this is all the very rich oil. So there's a lot of other oil fields as well, but and I think that the Kurds are probably maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing here, but more angling at political objectives, whereas the Iraqis are really actually want the oil, so it's far more financial for them. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, because it does take quite a while for these extended videos to actually upload, and I know that no one's ever going to watch this far, but I thought it's interesting as a continuation of the video I did before. So there you go. And remember, you can model this, and if you think you can get to that stage and take it further, and that helps, you enjoy that, then sign up and you can give it a whirl yourself. Other than that, I'll speak to you later. Cheerio, bye.